Hello, and welcome back to Love, Peace, and Happiness Tarot. I go by Melinda NailFanatic. I'm coming to you live from Las Vegas, and today I have Marla with me.
Hi!
So yesterday I promised an interview, and today it's going down. We have not pre-decided or written down any questions. This is going to come out just like our show does. And she felt like having a drink together, so we both got our little drink here in our cup. And yeah, so this is a super casual setting. I'm not sure what's going to come out, but one thing I do want to do is thank you all for showing up. And then also I wanted to mention, I'm so grateful to you for coming through.
You're
because welcome. I know you live across town, you have your own life and all that good stuff. So I met Marla at Trader Joe's day before yesterday.
Yes.
How was that from your side of this story? Like, how did that happen from your experience? Tell me your perspective of that whole situation.
So my perspective of that situation was I'm doing my normal thing, just hello, how are you? And then I seen Melinda and I'm like, wait a minute. I had to talk to her. So as we conversed, we decided to try. She gave me her card and we just started talking and come to realize that this is not my first time meeting her, but the trick is that I have a pretty good memory. So I didn't really know what I know now that I know, if that makes sense. So as she came through the line, her beautiful family was with her, and there was just this kinetic energy that was like, I have to take time and talk to her, because I meet 1,000 people probably a day. And sometimes, not often, do I have a connection, something like this. So as I got to meet her and I reconnected with her, honestly. So a few years ago, when I was out visiting my family out here, I was living in Denver, and I went to, can I name that place?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I went to a place called Lifetime that's out here. It's a spa, and they were having a little get together for Women's Day. And it was like the salon was open and they were doing everyone's hair, and they were just doing this little cute thing. I said tarot readings in the back. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go sit with this lady and see, I'm going to meet her. So one lady that was there wasn't available. And I was like, okay, I wasn't really connected with the first one, and I wanted to go to the second one. So Melinda was the second one. So meeting that and sitting down with her, she gave me the amazing card reading. Now listen, she used these little kid cards.
Yeah, the play school flashcard.
They were like, I'm thinking, okay, because how it is in the spiritual / metaphysical world. It's this big, huge, extravagant. There's stones, there's this, there's that. There's these amazing, surroundings to make you feel like you're in the, you're in the vibe. There was no vibe. I sat down with her. I looked her in the eye and I was like, okay, cool. This is okay. And she proceeded to give me a tarot reading and use these little kid cards. And do you know what? They were the most accurate reading I'd ever had in probably 15 years. And I don't normally go to a lot of readings because I have my own gifts and my own understanding of what I need to be doing. But it's good to have someone else come in and just understand you from just meeting you right away and giving you exactly what you need at that moment. Because, as a self, we kind of color our own gardens with what we need, and the manifestation and materialization, et cetera, et cetera. But just to have someone come in and just be like, okay, here it is. And she threw this deck down. She did we did 2 rounds. You did one for the current place, past, present, and all that. And she told me 3 things that I'll never forget now that I realize who she is after 4 years. I'm actually sitting with her in her home on this channel next to her, and her undivided attention, which is lovely. And so she tells me 3 things are going to happen. You're gifted, you're a celestial being, and things are going to go full circle, and that your children will be okay. And there was one more thing about growth, and something about 2 of my guides were going to be coming to me a lot more than they normally had. So a little bit about me. I have different guides that I work with. So with me, I listened to her and I was like, okay, so this is good. So everything that I have going on in my life is really happening. Because, as a human being, we kind of get caught up in the mundane. But this whole Trader Joe's, once again, this place has been amazing and brought me in her path at the perfect time of the first full circle. And I'm actually sitting next to her doing the full circle. So thank you for having me on your channel. Thank you for being my friend.
Yes.
And thank you for giving me an amazing reading that again, is accurate.
I love the way this works. And
Yeah.
so when you told me the experience about your full circle energy, I was like, but it's full circle for me too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this is so full circle for me too. Because so my daughter was so amped about her. And the only reason I even went to Trader Joe's was my daughter.
This is the real deal. Go ahead. You gotta tell the story.
Yeah, the only reason I even went there was my real daughter. Was really because of my daughter. And then the same thing, the only reason I was reading cards at that place was because my daughter's client had that gig. They needed a reader. They brought me in, and it was through my daughter. And then she's here because of her daughter.
And I went to that physical location at Lifetime, because of my daughter. She was a personal trainer there, and she had just gotten her certification and was like, oh, I'm going to go to Lifetime, Mom, and I'm bringing you because you're in town. So once again, our daughters, Gaia has stepped in and intersected with the feminine power and brought us together as a group.
Yeah.
So I love our kids. I had the opportunity to meeting her daughter, and I need to thank her again. I didn't really get to thank her, but I need to connect with her and let her know, thank you for, this whole situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just feel like everything happens the way it's supposed to, you know?
Organically.
Yeah. Like you were telling me even this morning that you dropped some more of your crystals off. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like how you got the crystals, what led you to leave them in the water? Let them know what we're talking about.
Okay, so this is going to be long.
That's fine. We've got time.
Okay, we got time. We always have time.
And they want to know what you have to say. Okay. Right, guys? You want to know what she's got to say?
Okay, so here we go. Story is, I've always been a gifted human being. I grew up in a situation with my family. I was, as our higher selves, we have our little map. As we sit up in the clouds or wherever you want to partake it to be, you sit as your soul. And you divinely say, okay, I'm going to reincarnate, and this is what I need to learn, and this is what I'm going to set up my road. My road is already ordained by my higher self. So my higher self is like, okay, I had no idea as a little girl that I came from a background of,
go ahead,
dark magic. My mother was very involved, and I do not look like nothing of my family. They are brown-haired, brown-eyed, darker complected, and I came out like this. Same hair color, same eyes, they're green, and I'm, a European. But the thing is that wherever we come from, it doesn't necessarily mean that's where you're going. So everything that I've learned in this path is to understand that everything that's happened in my path is for the greater good of me, of my growth, of my collective, of us working together as a group, and us being all one, not just alone. Because that's what a lot of times people happen to think is, oh, I'm different. I can't do this. You have ADHD. You're this. We don't want to listen to all that. What it is that's how our soul is in alignment with our human body. And in order to keep those so-called situations under control is you got to remember exactly who you are. And you got to kind of shake hands with your inner child, your adulthood, your past, dark night of the soul, past. Yes, the past is imperative because without the past, we would not have our future. And everything that we have in our life is ordained by our higher selves as a divine source, whatever you identify with. I've always had celestials around me. I always have had the Orion star seeds around me, and I've always had the Pleiadians around me. And as a little girl, I didn't know what was going on. I had playmates. So as I grew up and coming from a dark background and my mother doing, rituals and all these things that I didn't understand, every single time I went through a side of a fence and I impaled myself on a fence with magical nails that showed up every time she was in doing her darkness. So I would always be the bloodletter. I would get hurt. I would fall. I was, ripped through my childhood. All I wanted to do was be a cute little girl doing little girl things, but that's not how it goes. We always want what we want, but in essence, we are truly here to be our own guidance and our own guider, and also to be available to bring in everything and to kind of surface it and then let it go through and understand that's all for the greater good. It may not be for you specifically, but it might be for someone that you might meet, or you might come and loo with, or you might greet. Oh, just a simple hello, like me at Trader Joe's, normal lady with Marla on my shirt. It doesn't really matter. However, I'm placed at the right place at the right time all the time. And that's what I've had to learn as I'm now going to be 51 in August. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why I was so different, why I was a little fairy magic, why I did the things I did as a kid, and I knew as growing up that things were going to change, but not hating my family is the biggest thing I could have done, is saying thank you to them, all of them, my fatherless, my dad running away, being whatever he was doing, Rolling Stone, my mom doing her thing, my grandparents who are the shining light of my life that were raising this little girl, and they knew I was going to be special, and they took their extra time for little Molly, because that's my little inner child that I grew up with, that I'm all one with. But sometimes there's a split, and I had to learn as growing that those splits don't happen. What you have to do is you kind of narrow it all in like a road, and it's like a river, and it's got to flow. And so the reason why I put those stones in that water is to all the things that I've been collecting all these times, thinking it was going to make me better. It was going to improve my light. It was going to give me source. It was going to give me ability to get more of the things that I have on my body to be adornment. That's not what gets you where you need to go. What that is, that's a road. That's like a gas station. It gets you extra gas to get you to the next spot and the next spot. And then pretty soon you don't need a gas station anymore. All you need to do is just pull over and you just get gas and leave. It doesn't have to be this situation. So I put these stones, and I don't call them rocks. Rocks are things you find in a movie theater drive-in or someone's front yard. These were stones. These were, to me, they were powerful beings of light that I could get starseed information. I could get into Orion starseeds. I could get into the Pleiadians. That's in me. All of the things that I've incorporated. So I was like, you know what? I still wear my beautiful necklace that I love that was gifted to me because it's important to me, but I don't need it to survive. I don't need it to get through Las Vegas's muck of madness, or my travels from Denver, or my travels from the Hunters Point, San Francisco, living in the hood back in the day. That was nothing. What got me where I am today, strong, willing, and able, and understanding, is my path of letting that go. Putting those, and I had stones, you guys, stones, agates, quartz, thousands of dollars of turquoise, things that, I got to go here. I got to drive to, quartzite to Arizona. I got to get the natives to bless this. I don't need none of that. Even though I do like the natives and their blessings, because they're beautiful people and they're from the earth, and I like them as humans, and I like us to be friends because we all are part of the world. And I enjoy going to places that have the monks and the temples and it's not the religious background, it's the enlightenment, it's the skills that they have attained through their growth. It has nothing to do with their clothes or their stones. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hold on to these. I'm going to thank them for their service, and I'm going to let them go home, because I don't want to be held captive. So I want to let them go and to the collective, because that's where they belong. They belong back to Gaia. So I put them in this random little garden place that me and my son travel, and we walk around to give thanks to Gaia, because this beautiful hot land that we're in. Again, this is my third time in Las Vegas again, but it's for the good. It's all, this is a collective. So I put that stuff in the water, and I said, I wished it well. And every memory that I put with it that was good, I set that out. Wow. And that's what's important.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So one of the natural Taurus traits is, it's mine. I'm keeping you forever, my pretty. Oh my God. Yeah. Learning to let go is such a big deal. And what I love most about that experience for you is that what you were previously attributing your power to, you reclaimed it in the most significant of ways by actually releasing that object and freeing your power to flow more naturally through you as it was designed to. And I love that you reached that conclusion through your own life experience, through your own awakening of awareness, because that's been a big thing for me. It's like, Melinda, don't begin to attribute your power to the cards or to the crystals or to anything.
Yes. Yeah. All that is just a instrument in the deliverance of knowledge, however you may take it. And I encourage star seeds, and I am one. I know who I am, but it took me, and I'm not the one to tell people, don't have your crystals, don't have your stones. I'm not like that. I'm not the crystal police. Whatever gets you to stage 2 and stage 3 and stage 4, that's what we're here to explain to everyone. And I appreciate all of your time. And I've enjoyed being here and meeting you and being part of this amazing channel. I've never been on YouTube. I should have done it a long time ago, but it wasn't time. I had to be in the right zone, in the right place at the right time. And that's the thing is I encourage everyone, whatever your path is, to embrace it. If it takes a crystal or it takes a piece of quartz to heal your heart or your chakra, if you need a tanzanite, if you need a fluorite, which some of you, I feel like someone needs a fluorite out there. I also feel like, you may need things to heal parts of your body or to give you security that you're going to be okay. But I will let you know, if you just sit down and hold your hands open and pray, meditate, ask, and interpretate, and bring that into your spirit, that's going to help you millions more. And if it has to be something in your physical connection, because we are human, we are light worker, we are light beings having a human experience, and this body is just 100 years old. I'm going to make it to 101 because I just know. But in 101 years, that's going to be a lot of holding things, holding people's hands, holding the elderly's hands, wishing them well in their movement, meeting people that are troubled and crying and hateful and erotic and just that's okay, because you can hold their hand. But the thing is that you have to cleanse. You have to cleanse your body with these stones if you're going to decide to do work with them. But I encourage anyone, whatever your element is, to use that.
I love that. So what I heard you saying from an energy level is like, whatever helps you to raise your vibration, go for that. But what you're on is that path to help you understand that you are that ultimately. And it's almost like, so somebody who's injured, like let's say a person is physically injured and they need a crutch for a minute, right?
There it is.
It's a crutch for a minute. But when you heal, you don't need that fucking crutch no more.
Yeah.
You don't need that crutch. You ain't gonna carry these sticks around and you can run and jump and do cartwheels.
And don't keep it in your closet because you're not going to get hurt again.
Another thing that's now coming out about crystals in particular is like they come and go as their service is required. So I just saw somebody who's been so sad because they lost their crystal bracelet or their precious crystal or whatever. It's like, well, it did its job. And because I have sold so many energy intentional bracelets and necklaces and stuff over the years, whenever they would tell me, oh, my bracelet broke. And it's like, well, I guess it was done with its work. Like when when it leaves you, it's done with you. And one time somebody's like, yeah, and it stayed perfectly. All the beads are still in the strand. I said, well, then I guess it wants to be in your place somewhere. Yeah. Right? Like you can save it somewhere pretty, but you don't require it on your body no more. Right. Because the energy has done what it needed to do, and you are the energy now. So that's beautiful. And it's not that you were ever not the energy. Is what it's doing is it's like inspiring the awareness of what you are within you. It's like a deprogramming, a removing of filters, and false ideas. And so that's really freaking cool. And what were you going to say?
Oh, the filter word.
Yeah.
My information on the filter is to allow one's work come from within. That's your filter.
Say it again.
To allow the work to come from within is the filter. And
elaborate.
Meaning that inner beings, and I get messages from letters and numbers, so it's very hard to translate it into English because, as the messages that I receive, they come in pieces because that's just how, there's no language where we come from. So all of us, we don't have a language. Language is a human being thing. So meaning that the filter is from within. So if it feels okay and you hold it and you do things with it or whatever, you think about it, write it down on a piece of paper, and if you hold it to your heart, you will always have your own filter of what you need to do.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yes. What I hear you explaining is the emotional guidance system.
Okay, there's big words.
Yeah, I see you explaining the emotional guidance system. Where I say it on the channel all the time. It's like, if it feels like bliss, do more of this. If it feels like crap, that's because it's shit. Flush it. And what happens when you take a shit and you flush it? Like you never see it again. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
It's choice of a memory.
Yeah.
If you choose to remember it.
And that sometimes it can, when you're in the middle of the shit, when I was in the middle of the shit, it was so fucking hard. I'm not even wild.
Trust me.
Like when I was first learning all this stuff, it felt like
There's no way out.
Oh my God. I'm trying to change my point of focus. I'm trying to see the light in this and where's the blessing in this and all that shit. But I got fucking bills to pay and this shit just happened and that's dramatic and blah, 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 blah. And this has always been and that's always been. So I really took a lot of like determination and it starts out that way for everybody.
That's the shift.
Yeah. It's the beginning of a shift.
Choice.
And what I'm seeing, like Abraham is here showing me that like, it's like they always talk about the train, a locomotive takes so long to slow down once it's moving. And so it takes so long to slow down that mentality. And then to reverse it, it's got to first hit a full stop. It's got to first hit a full stop. Then it'll reverse. And it takes a minute to get the momentum going in the opposite direction. And so I could totally, like looking back over the last, like, I want to say 10 years of really being aware of this ability to focus differently on the reality that I'm seeing in my life. It was really tough in the beginning, but with practice and decisiveness, I would catch it sooner and sooner and sooner and sooner and sooner and sooner and sooner. And really, all this stuff really started if I really think back to when I started making different decisions. I was 21. I'm 45 now. So 24 years. Because what really triggered it for me was the awareness of my rage. And the catalyst to become aware of that was, I don't even know if you know this about me, but my father committed suicide.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I watched my dad set himself on fire when I was 15, and so did my entire high school.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my
well,
God.
I'm not. At one point, I was so sorry.
That's harsh.
But through the years, I worked through so many emotions as a result of that now I'm actually grateful for it. As absurd as that sounds, I'm grateful for it. Because I've heard of other people who have come into a great awakening and they went through so many years of suffering in a situation. And for me, it's like, yes, there was a lot of shit before that could totally be called a bunch of years of suffering in a situation. But really, it was that 2-minute period of that human experience that it was like a fucking gunshot in my life. Like, bitch, you're out of here. Go. It's time to explode. And all my shit exploded in my life. And then I could begin to process that and deprogram it and deconstruct it, right? And it started for me with my rage. But yeah, when I was 15 and a half, I watched my father commit suicide. He shot himself. No, he didn't. But I did see that later. Oh, no. Okay. Anyways, go back. Yes. So I watched myself burn to death. And then when I was 29, my mother died from cancer in my home while I was taking care of her. Like, she had this rare form of cancer that is really, really aggressive because it wasn't in any organ. And so all of these things like culminated into, I had a lot of experience with processing a lot of very difficult emotions. And I didn't necessarily have someone to turn to help me process them. And I had religion. I did have religion,
right?
Because I always wanted to do the right thing.
You want to fit in the zone.
I wanted to please God, honestly. I really wanted to please God. And then as you know, this path of anger unfolded and deconstructing the programmings and the filters, I realized like God is within. It's not in a fucking building. It's definitely not in that man who dresses in that outfit and who knows what he does.
He doesn't have an outfit. He's energy.
It's it. And so
he's
now
beautiful. He drinks ambrosia and sitting at the table of the gods. I mean,
I love the way you said it though, that God is energy because and Abraham's like, we don't talk about God. We don't talk about God.
Abraham.
And the reason why Abraham doesn't talk about God is there's so many ideas to what God is, and so many, it attaches to so many preconceived notions that we were programmed with as we were born into this plane.
Programming.
Yes. But what I saw was that, if God is in everything and God is love, I don't know. I was showing like God must be the energy scientifically that keeps the protons, neutrons, and electrons in their perfect place of every atom so that nothing explodes, so that life can go on. And so that helped me to really appreciate, like, everything works together for my good. That awareness, although it wasn't given words so clearly at that time, was what helped me to see that all those tragedies of my life were like the best thing that could have happened.
Totally.
Yeah. Because that's what made me able to read cards with you. It stimulated the spiritual growth in me so that I ever met you the first time and then the second time too.
2 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm getting a question for you. So did you notice that reading that you had, can you tell us if there was any consciousness shifts between their major things where you feel like the readings that you had the first time we met really came into play? I know you mentioned your guides. What happened with that? Tell me some more about
They said, told you.
Oh, really?
So now you got to hear it from a human transport. You can't listen to me. Uriel was like, oh, G. Me and Uriel go back till 1997 when I seen something in a trash can. We'll talk about that later. But yes, my reading was like, told you, all you had to do was just, you have to hear it from a human being. So I didn't understand why I had to hear it. But, you have to sometimes. Sometimes you have to sit down with someone, or you have to be in like this, like us, to be able to get that understanding that we're all the same. Sometimes we need a hug. And those readings that she gives and the things that I've interpreted from her has been nothing but, okay, I'm here to help. Okay, let's do this. And the one thing I do love about you is that you were like, and this is what I didn't like about the other readings. Like, don't coddle me, don't handheld, because I come from the hood. Okay, I probably do look like it, but I'm a little bit of hoodie on that one side because that was my spiritual training living in Hunters Point, San Francisco area in the Mission in Daly City. I've been all over the freaking continent because that's what I was supposed to be involved in, to understand that every day is a gift and that I can change everything by my own mentality and my own thought process. But that's a big difference. That's a whole other show. But sitting with her and be like, she was like throwing those cards on the table, and they were play school cards, for God's sakes. I was like, okay, I can do this. And we locked eyes, and she said, you're gifted. Don't you forget it. That's one thing that I heard, is that you're special and you're gifted, and you need to do something with it. Because that's what this little apple kept coming up, the apple card. And I'm like, an apple? I don't want to get monetized if I say that bad words, but I was like, okay, so that's the seed. The apple is the seed. So that means I take her reading as the apple is the seed. So that means I need to pay more attention to the seed. So, however, that's what happened. And I never would have thought I would be sitting here with you.
Yeah.
2019. That's what, 4 years?
Mm.
And everything, I work in 3-6-9s because that's how my life runs. Mm-hmm. So I got here at 3:00 because it's just how it rolls.
Oh, yeah.
But I knew right when I met you, I was like, okay, she's going to tell me the truth. She threw those cards down. She's like, I got nothing to hold, nothing to tell. I got no mumbo jumbo. And I'm like, okay, I can deal with this, because I felt connected, that I didn't have to put on a persona to get my answers from someone that was on the same page as me, that I've been through similar things and didn't even know it until I sat down with you. Mm. You looked me in the eye and you said, do something with it. Mm. You said, do something with this. Mm. You said, stop listening to other people. Because I remember this like yesterday, and this was literally 4 years ago.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm grateful for your guidance, and I'm grateful for your freaking candidness.
Yeah.
And you being real. Like, thank you. I didn't want some handheld coddle, I want to go see a psychic. Jesus. Oh, no pun intended. Sorry. But
you're getting religious on me.
No, I didn't mean to. It was just, sorry. I apologize. Rewind. But I appreciate you. So
Jesus
much.
Is laughing with us.
I know. He's been drinking ambrosia the whole time. But however, I mean, we're here, and I'm grateful for you, and thank you for being honest with me, and thank you for being genuine with me and being right on time.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be coddled. Yeah. I need the truth.
So funny enough, yesterday when we were having our conversation on the phone,
I love this
which is our first raw conversation.
Yeah, really, since Trader Joe's 24 hours earlier, but prior 4 years earlier.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things that came out was sometimes you want to say things, but you bite your tongue. And I was like, no. So now I'm hearing, it's like, if I had bit my tongue the way you bit your tongue, I would have
never respected you.
It wouldn't have worked the way it did.
Don't bite your tongue.
Yeah. Nope. A big message, right?
Yes,
yeah,
please.
Yeah.
And that's a big message for me, too, is that just because I see somebody that looks like a certain way, they're not going to give me the answers that I seek. I even know, confirmation that I seek, honestly. But this one, I love her. She's great. And I know you guys love her too.
And likewise, like when you have that guidance that you just feel like you have to say something so often, like it feels like I don't want to say it because they're not going to like me when I say this. I'm not going to say it because they don't want to hear this and they're not ready for it. Well, if it's on your heart to tell, like they're fucking ready. Whether they like it or not, they need to hear this shit, and they need to hear this shit now. We're not going to get trouble for this, are we? Yeah. No. I talk. However, I mean, it's gonna do what it's gonna do. If they didn't like it, they would click off. Going here. You know, if they didn't like it, they would click off. But no, the live will continue, and it'll be there. Yeah. So that's that. Like a person really has to. When you're spiritually guided to say something, you really have to open your mouth. You
have to,
you know,
because that's spirit talking through you, and that's your hires telling you, hey, you need to tell this person exactly what their soul is needing, like you were saying on the phone yesterday. And I'm like, but they're not gonna. But there's no buts.
Yeah,
you know, sometimes, and you, of course, you have to gently speak. Of course, if they're a dainty person or someone that's seeking advice or guidance.
Tact is always nice.
Tact is beautiful.
Yeah,
tact doesn't hurt people's feelings, but that's a hard word.
And then the thing
coming
is,
from the hood, tact doesn't happen.
So here's the thing, though. I literally, one of the things that we've been receiving in our spiritual training through this channel has been like, we are not responsible for how they receive us. You can be as tactful as you want, honey. And sometimes they're still going to take high offense and they're going to feel like you're out to get them. And that's not your responsibility. Just like you feel the way you feel. And yes, you feel differently in a certain person's energy based on how they treat you. However, the feeling is generated within you always. And what we're really looking for is such a strong connection to our own source that nothing external influences that. Now you've cut to the root of your own vibration, and so many less external influences will be able to jumble that, which means in this moment, what we're generating for our future, our projection into our future now is a lot more beautiful. It's just a lot more beautiful.
And you know, I've come to agree with you on that. And you know, things that I've learned too is that if you keep saying the right things at the right time, people will come.
Yeah.
You literally came through my line.
Yeah.
Ava Limona.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the best line ever. I was on my favorite register. I know I keep going back to this, but Trader Joe's, I mean, it brought me the people I need to be.
Yeah.
Where I need to be.
So tell me more about that word, though.
Ava Limona? Yeah. It's a place in Hawaii.
Okay.
It's a boulevard.
Okay.
And it's in Kauai, which is my favorite place.
Okay.
And I will go because it's uncharted territory. It's very pure. Okay. That's why I asked you from there.
Oh, okay.
Because it feels like you have Kauai, you know.
I have that Lemuria energy.
Yeah,
people see it. Yeah.
I like Lemurians, you know.
Yeah.
But however, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Yeah. So I was at the park with my daughter and my grandsons yesterday. When I picked them up, they had gone to the park. So we're hanging out, and some guy wanders over. He needs a light, and we chit chat a little bit with him. And so, of course, before he leaves, I'm like, well, I do this, I do that. And he's like, I knew you were somebody. I knew you were something.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know you were something. I could just tell by looking at you that you were something. You were someone. And then he got the YouTube information. So if you're watching.
Thank you.
What was his name? I want to say Barry, but I don't think it was Barry. Anyhow, hey, right? If you're watching, when you're watching, but they're saying when he's watching, because apparently he's going to be watching this video. So I would love your comments. Throw something in the comments, just confirm. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. Another thing I wanted to ask you. So you grew up in a very spiritual background, but it was a dark spiritual background. Did you find yourself in fear? And can you talk a little bit about that and how you came out of it?
Fear is a debilitating. I can't even get the word out because it's very hard for me. It's a debilitating feeling.
I heard with that, somebody needs a starter.
Somebody
needs a starter.
And to restart that. Yeah. So there's our affirmation.
All right.
Restart. Okay. So fear is a debilitating situation. And I did grow up in fear. I didn't know what my mom was doing. I didn't understand. All I knew is that we had to go here. 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 But that's okay. Because at my age, still to this day, I still have fear. But you know what that means? is that I need to sit down with myself and I need to talk to my inner child, and I have to understand where that fear comes from, because I blocked out 14 years of my life. You know, when I stabbed my stepdad in his hand because he was trying to get to me with a screwdriver, and recently was set free of that 4 years ago, I was able to put him in prison because of it. And that helped me understand that. And ironically, it was on the right hand where I got this guy. So my childhood was very tricky. It was like lots of this, lots of that. And it was so fearful. And yes, I was in lots of fear. All I wanted to do is go to school and run track and be normal. I didn't even have shoes on my feet to run track, but I took state before I even hit junior high. And I wore shoes that my gym teacher gave me that I wrapped in duct tape because I just couldn't buy more. So the fact fear is that even though you're fearful, you turn that into something positive. You got to turn that into, bam, I got to bust through that door. Even though I'm scared, like I got to learn how to swim before my birthday, August 30th. And I'm going to be okay with that. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep busting through that fear, because it's just a mentality. It's just something that we're trained to feel because we're unaware of our gifts that we're able to use to get through that. So fear is something that, every single day I was in fear. For 14 years, I was in fear until I went to my grandparents' house. But I'm embraced by the love that I have by them, that everything I do in my life, I can't fear. I have no fear anymore, because I walk through the darkest places in Hunters Point in San Francisco that people don't make it out of. I've seen religious figures in trash cans that say, "Why do you put me here? You're one of my chosen ones." I have interactions with angelics daily, hourly, momently. And every time that I do these things, I can't have fear because I'm set free. So it's a choice that we have to make to overcome. And if you choose to be in fear, you got to really reset with yourself and sit with yourself and figure out why. Is it because you don't want to grow, or is it because you can't grow? And if you can't grow, then there's a problem, because if you're not growing, you're not learning, you're not living. So I encourage you to keep growing through your fear, because it's going to end. It's thoughts that we have made in our head that's not accurate, and it's embedded in us by our childhood rearings or people, places, and things. Screw that. You got to push through. Because if I can make it out of the ghetto, and I can make it out of things, and I still have my teeth, and I'm sober today, well, off of substances that were pertaining to I love my wine, but that's about it. And it's about knowing where your limits are and pushing through those limits and growing from them. There's no fear. You can't have fear.
What do you think was a significant event or epiphany, or what was it that took you from that fear mentality to begin to reclaim your power from it?
I'll show you.
We'd love to see.
Okay, one moment. I might cry.
That's okay. I got tissue close by because the allergies stopped what they were going.
On my line, I've got 9 angelics. The day that this happened, you probably can't see it. I've got 9 lines of staples and stitches through my arm. And when I accepted this on my arm, everything changed, because I had to change. I wasn't going to go. I was hit head on by an ambulance at 18. Lived through a windshield of my car, lived through it. Saw an angelic sitting in my front, an angel, or whatever you want to call them, a being of light that said, "Come here, come closer, I have something to tell you." And I kept leaning in and kept leaning in. I got hit head on by an ambulance driver who was intoxicated at 18 years old, leaving a strip club. Because yes, I used to be a dancer, and I loved every minute of it because I met people. But you know what? The thing is that I needed to not be afraid of this. And I see people every day that look at my arm and they're like, "Oh, she's this, she's that." I don't care what they think, because I can guarantee you that nobody can make it through this like I did. And when I made when I made a acknowledgement that my human doesn't need to hurt anymore, and I took it all out of my body, that was the wrongest thing I could have done. When all I had to do was ask for help, but I didn't know how to ask for help. They helped me, and I accepted my gifts for everything that I have, because I will never go back. I will never go back to the hood again, and I will never feel this pain again, because I made one with my guides, and I made one with who I truly am. So I have no fear anymore. And I live in a light, an armor. I have armor now. And I'm not encouraging people to attempt suicide at all. And if you have friends or family that are going to or try to, I encourage you to reach out to them. But this was my way of getting through and trying to figure out who I was. And it was the wrong thing to do. And I don't encourage anyone to ever partake in this. But the thing is that I knew at that point I was going to change because I had to. If I lived through that, and I lived through an amphetamine addiction, I lived through gangs, drugs, all kinds of stuff. And if you sit here and I get to meet all of you and you sit here and you see me, there is hope. You can't judge a book by its cover because that book can change. And that change has no fear. Change is not fear.
I love that. So you just validated something that I heard spiritually. Let me get you a tissue.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I still have eyelashes. I'm good, girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so there's this message that I received from Spirit not too long ago, and it's literally about suicide.
Yeah.
So
it's everywhere.
Like I mentioned, suicide was a big influence in my spiritual journey, and I've worked with a lot of people. I don't like, my ex used to say, I don't want to be somebody you deal with. Okay, so I started to change my mentality. It's like one of the experiences that I experienced and I lived through was realizing like I am able to talk to people about that subject very much. And so one of the things that came through, I want to say it was even this year, in the earlier part of the year, it came through and it said, sometimes you feel like you just want to fucking die. And they showed me so many times in my life where I felt like I wanted to die. And they said, the problem with you humans in the human bodies, you keep thinking everything is fucking physical.
Yeah, exactly.
You do want to die, but you want to die spiritually. You don't ever really want to take your physical life. What you're looking for is a spiritual change. You just confirm that because that's what actually happened.
And you know what? And if you guys can't see this, but there is exactly 9 lines on here. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then those are staples.
Okay.
Those staples represent all of my guides. I know who they are. I don't have a lifeline on my hands because I'm infinite. I'm here until I'm ready. And I'm ready for a really long time. So I'm telling you that everything that goes on in your life, it's for a reason.
Absolutely.
And you want to die spiritually. Like you want to die humanly, not humanly like that, but you want to change. You want to accept. And unfortunately, doing my childhood of me falling through I went down a slide at 8 years old. There was no screw on the slide, mind you. And I cut my leg all the way from my heel all the way to my hip. There was no nail. I've always been a blood thing with me. I don't know. So that's all I have to say about that. Sometimes we don't. Our spiritual path is not ordained. It's our unique way of doing things.
Yeah.
Specifically.
So now you bring up another subject. It's like, okay, so it's not ordained. I agree with you. However, I've seen it this way, and I would love to hear what you have to say about this. I've seen it this way. It's like before we came, we sat down and we decided on certain types of events. And the way I saw it was like, it's like there's this application. I want to go to Earth. I want to do the human experience. Okay, what will you do if we send you to Earth? And it was like a chart. And
that's the chart higher self, that you have that checklist.
Yes. And each thing you checked was a certain percentage. I want to transmute the energy of racism. I want to transmute the energy of single mothers. I want to transmute the energy of the elderly. I want to transmute the energy of disease. I want to transmit the energy of suicide. I want to transmute the energy. And so we ticked off all these boxes with a certain percentage. So what I've seen is that gives like an outline. There are certain types of events that are specified for our life. However, the details are what is full free will, full voluntary. We pick and choose how we go through them. So this was really cool. You might really like this.
Thank you for helping me on that. Once again, you just helped me understand that I transmit disease energy to the elderly. And you helped me also understand that through situational, health as we speak. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Once again, she's right on.
And so here's the thing that I was shown even more recently. I want to say within the last 3 months, I got this. And it was like, okay, so in your percentage, so those percentages, 5%, 10%, 15%, whatever, we tick the boxes, 5%. So we took 85%. I don't know. Oh, poverty. Somebody was transmitting the energy of poverty. I got 85% poverty.
I'm probably 40% poverty.
So here's
I hate that. I don't want to do that.
Oh, okay. So there's something in that. But what I saw was, we don't know how many our total years are. Yeah. But let's say you ticked 85% poverty. So 85% of your total years, which you don't know what that number is, there's the mystery, right? In my case, I say 180.
You can see it.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm only a quarter of the way there.
What if they told you had to get there by eating seafood?
That would be an interesting experience. I'd assume that if I had to get there by eating seafood, then I would like seafood.
Right.
Anyways, what I saw, so let's say you tick the box for 85% of an experience of poverty. And then, so now you've actually fulfilled 60% of poverty, but you found literal wealth for yourself. But you're still living in that 85% timeline of poverty in the sense that now you become an advocate, or you help others learn about financial wealth, or you donate and you become a philanthropist in some sort of way. So what's interesting, what I saw was like, just because you chose 85% of whatever the experience was, physical abuse, mental abuse, spiritual, whatever, doesn't mean that you're going to live that whole experience that way. You could live it from inside as a personal liver of the experience, a personal experiencer of that energy in your personal life, or you can live it on the outside of it, having realized like, this is something I need to overcome in my life. The earlier you realize it, you'll see it on the outside of you. So you might have people around you in your family who are in poverty experience, or in your community, or maybe you go into a job where you work with the homeless. I met a woman recently who works with the homeless. So there's other ways to live that experience, but to get out of being immediately in it, we've got to have the enlightenment, the awareness, and have transmuted the energy of that experience in order to remove ourselves from the immediate experience and put ourselves on the sideline, where now we can produce positive energy towards that experience. But we can only produce that once we have that.
True alignment.
And so this brings up your, I don't like that, I hate that. Okay.
I know what I signed up for.
Yeah, I'm glad you do.
Yeah.
I'm glad you do, because it's like, okay, as long as you hate it, there's something in there that you have not received the experience of transmuting the energy through awareness. So there's something else in the awareness there. So one of the things that helped me with that was realizing like, this shit has been going on in my family line for generations. And if I get to transmute the energy, then that's less that my children have to deal with. So that made me happy about any poverty consciousness that I've done. As well as I learn, like I'm able to share what I've learned with other people, because I'm a fucking blabbermouth, and let me find something that works. I'm gonna tell the world.
Totally.
Yeah, like, you guys gotta try this. This really fucking works. You'd be surprised.
Whether you like it or not, you're gonna try it.
And so it's like,
that's
how I felt about all this law of attraction mentality stuff when I first found it. I'm like, ugh. But all I kept saying to myself, here you go, poverty conscious. It's free, bitch. It doesn't cost you nothing to change the way you think, bitch. One of the things that helped me with poverty consciousness.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I started looking at other ways that I decided wealth was. So many of us, we're stuck on wealth and money. But wealth is present in so many more ways.
Your heart.
So many more ways. So the heart is exactly where I found it, because when I was in my most financial dire states, I remember realizing like, people try to buy love all the time because they have too much money and not enough love. And I had a house with 6. I had my first grandson, my daughter, my sister, and her 2 children. I was the only one bringing home any bread. And I was stressed the fuck out. And so I even had a cousin staying with me for a short, about 3 months, from Colorado. And he says, you know, sis, when you come in the house, he says, everybody gets excited. They light up. And when you're not here, they're just dull and just like lumps on a log. But you come home and they light up. And that started shifting my poverty consciousness to wealth consciousness by stop equating wealth with money and equate it to the things that money can't even buy. Where am I rich? And then, so it started with, well, I'm rich because when I come home, these kids fucking love me. And I got arms around my neck and hugs and kisses and lovings.
And thank you.
Yes, all that. So much to be grateful for. That is real love. Like, how many times have you heard of wealthy people? Well, I can't tell you.
How many wealthy people hug each other?
Well, how many times have wealthy people tried to buy love? They try to buy families. They try to, because they don't have it. They've had to let go of all of that in order to acquire their wealth. And it's like, so I started realizing the wealth that I had in my home through the children and family. And then I started realizing, well, there's a lot more ways to have wealth. It's like, what about all these artistic ideas you have? That's wealth. What about all these words that you can speak? That's wealth. So I started looking at all the different ways that I have wealth. That's where I started shifting from poverty consciousness to wealth consciousness. And it's like from that, a lot more stuff started falling in line. More experiences were in alignment with what I wanted to see and not what I didn't want to see. Because what really was happening was I stopped focusing so intently on, I don't like this and I don't like that and I hate this and this fucking sucks and golly, I was born on the wrong side of the tracks. If I was born at another time, all this other shit where I was looking at lack and limitation. And so it's like
reality.
And so in order to break that, I had to get into what is true about my now that is not that truth. There's got to be more truth here. And I just started unveiling it. And realizing it, and it's really working.
And that whole verbal thing you're talking about, the wealth of verbalizing information and talking to people.
Yeah,
that's all I do all day long is talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my wealth. My wealth is my articulateness and my ability to have empathy for a human being, any human being, whether they have a status or not.
Mm-hmm.
That our wealth is our voice. Our voice is our wealth. Because you know what? A lot of people, that's why I got this lotus flower, because I grew out of mud.
Mm-hmm.
And this reminds me that I will always bloom.
Yeah.
And that my voice is the most powerful thing I got in my body. Mm. And you know what? That voice is important.
So how did you find, what happened when you started verbalizing more for your own benefit? In other words, there's a time I hear in your past where you really kept quiet and you allowed so much to continue. And then at some point, something happened and it caused you to start like, nope, we're going to speak for ourselves. Now, what was that? What does that look like?
When I got to convict that man that would chase me around as a child.
Wow.
When I realized that in the court of law, they took a verbal over the phone, because I was literally like 4 states away in Nebraska, because I got a wild hair moved to Nebraska. And I went to Nebraska to seek solace because I thought being out in the middle of nowhere was going to work. And I need to be in my heart, I need to be in my space. But I found my space, and it gave me this skill of speaking up more. Because, it was sad. It was sad out there. So when that district attorney called me and said, hey, I want to know what you have to say, I'm like, okay, you ready for this? He's like, well, you're the only one within reason that we can actually take in a court of law. And that's like 1% of the people get to do a verbal conviction, mind you, over the phone to get this man 80 years, and he was already 80. So he's going to die in jail. And that's okay, because I was in jail for 50 freaking years. Well, not really 50, like 36 years in my growth process because of this inner child thing that I didn't heal. But when he asked me, what do you have to say? I'm like, damn, I haven't shut up since. And that was 2018.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I never shut up before. I was Molly Magpie growing up. They were like, Marla, you talk too much. Marla, you talk too much. But that's my healing. That's beautiful. It's the way I heal people. And I heal with people. And I talk to them. And I help them through things. Because you can't buy that.
It seems like the right people just show up to talk about the right thing at the right time for what we need. I've noticed that when I do readings for people, like when somebody will ask for a reading, I can always see how there's some sort of relevancy in the message that I'm guided to deliver to the one who paid for the reading. But there's some sort of relevancy for me that I needed that message too. Have you had that experience?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, when someone seeks me out and asks me for help, and I sit down and talk with them, or I spend time with them intimately, the moment, the second, or the hour, whatever it takes, I am consecutively, as I'm giving this, I'm receiving. It's reciprocal.
Yeah.
As I give it, that's the only way I get it back. And I'm not doing it to get it back, but as I speak, I get, and a lot of people are like, Marla, are you listening to me? Like, you look like you're not paying attention, because I'm literally getting like 5 messages during our conversation. And I'm also transmuting. So it's this constant wheel. Mm-hmm. And the more that I help, the more I receive. But I don't do it for that reason. I do it because these poor people don't understand, and I'm not saying poor as in like that, but I'm saying these angst people that are needing, at that time, they look at me and they're like, I need absolute, and they may not say it because, unfortunately, 90% of us in this world are taught to be seen and not heard. And so I see it in their eyes, and that's my empathy. And that's my speaking isn't always through my mouth, it's through my eyes, through anything, conversation, touching, any of that. You have to be aware for that.
Yeah.
And the more times you're able to see and view, then you'll know what to do. And every time I do something nice, I just do it out of my heart. I don't do it to get anything back. I just do it just because I'm supposed to.
Yeah. It feels right.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, ooh, I'm good.
Yeah.
I got to go. It's time to go, lunch break, whatever, or I got to go, or it doesn't work.
Right.
But when it's time, it's time. And everybody that comes in my path is for a reason.
So there's something else that they want me to bring up. A long time ago, I did some messages for my ex-sisters-in-law, and they had colored eyes, and you have light colored eyes too.
They have green eyes.
Yeah.
1% of the world has them.
So one of them had green eyes and one of them has blue eyes, right? And one of the things I heard about people spiritually, I heard this when I was reading for them because they were trying to understand why they were seeing shadow puppies. They were seeing shadow puppies in their house. And what I heard was people who have light colored eyes have this heightened, more natural, more in flow and aligned ability to physically see spirit with their eyes. So when is your earliest recollection of seeing spirit with your eyes? Do you see shadows? Do you see bodies? Do you see auras? What do you see being a light colored eyed person who is spiritually in tune? Tell us more about that.
What I see is realms. Beings, light beings, sitting at a table, at a horseshoe-sized table with all the gods and goddesses sitting at me, ambrosia, being passed the cup from left to left to left, and I receiving the cup in this gold cup with a piece of lapis, and I drink from the cup. I've had that. I have seen darkness.
What did that look like?
Demogorgon, 8 feet tall plus.
Okay.
With 7.
I've watched Stranger Things, so I know what a Demogorgon.
Oh no, this is the real deal, love. No, this is before Stranger Things.
Okay.
This was in a field. I was hired. Okay.
Does it look like the one from Stranger Things, though?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's much more army.
Okay.
Lots of arms. And it likes to wrap around you. And it likes to tail you and go up, from in. So there was a situation when I was in North Platte, Nebraska, to where I was brought in as an awareness teacher. I won't say what I was doing because it might conflict with, if anybody might hear this. So I was hired by certain people to clear this ground. And it happened to be a location that had lots of darkness, lots of things going on. And it happened to be a child site that things had happened during the children era, if you know what I'm saying. So when I seen this, I was on this ground. It was about 2:30 in the morning. I was called to this ground. I was told where to go, and I drove out there. And I was able to sit in this open field, and I seen this darkness just come up and looked, and he had this thing had his arms and said, yes. That's what I could hear was yes. All I could say was yes. So having that visual, I was able to clear that land. And the weirdest thing happened was that this specific land that I cleared had a child that was missing for some time in this lake.
Oh, wow.
And I was able to help regress and reiterate where this, the situation was. And I was able to clear the land, but it took 3 nights of the dark side of the moon, which I normally don't work on the dark side of the moon. I normally work on the light side, but in order to get to dark, you got to get to dark. So this land requested clearance, and it just wanted to be heard. And I literally drove with my cute little Honda Fit that I have through a snowstorm that had every road blocked off. And we drove through the storm with this thing following us. And it just said, thank you. It kept saying, thank you, thank you. Because just because these spirits that are on this land don't mean harm, they're stuck. And so the transmission, how do you say it?
Transmuting.
Thank you. You have to clear it. You don't take it in, but you clear it. You ask it, how can I help you? What do you need? Are you lost? Are you lonely? Who's your people? Where do you come from? I'm sorry. You're 90 feet tall and you're scary and everybody writes movies about you. but what is it that you need? And then in my front lawn of my cute little place, I bought it for a sanctuary. I had 7 Grim Reapers in my front lawn going, yes, yes. So I knew they needed to be cleared. And my house that I had, my position of my mobile home, which I absolutely loved, it's the cutest little place on the face of the earth, was in alignment. Mind you, I found this mobile home on a not Instagram, but sorry, I didn't mean to name names.
It's okay.
But
names are fine.
On a post that was saying, willing to sell, want this place. I came into some money. I want to buy a place for me and my son. And it was in alignment. This mobile home was in alignment with the lighthouse that this thing was started from, that was brought to earth by some seances that went wrong and was brought to earth. And my house was in alignment. I could look out my back window where I slept every night, and it was right there. So I started walking. I'm like, okay, let's do this. I linked up. I did my celestial bubble. I did my thing. I got myself clear, and I walked in there and I asked it, what do you need? So that's the thing that light-eyed people might do, or just me. I'm not sure. But light eyes consider of, I don't know what it is, honestly, with the light and being. And the thing is so funny is I have a condition in my eyes called drusen that only a certain amount of people under the age of 80 have. And it's some pressure in my eyes. So I have to clear that too, because I think it's something I've seen probably with residuals. So it's important that if you do decide to do things, that you clear yourself constantly. You have to. But I see angelics, I see Lemurians, I see Pleiadians, I see everything. I see humans, and then what's behind them. I see their ancestrals, what's behind them. So just because you meet a human, you're like, oh, hi, how are you? You're shaking hands with their whole lineage. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm looking around. I see everything, good, bad, or indifferent, all the time.
Do you even remember when the first time you started seeing that stuff was, or was it just been, oh, you do?
I remember it was November 21st, 1988.
Oh, wow. Do you feel okay
My
to tell us?
My floor turned into water that was black.
Oh.
It looked like a waterbed.
And
I couldn't step on it. I was standing on my bed. I jumped over it. Then when I was 5 years old, I had sights of these little beings in my room. They were walking up me. I didn't understand. As a little girl, I didn't understand. I thought it was just something going on.
And you see this with your physical eyes?
Human eye.
Yeah. See, that's a difference. So with me, with my dark eyes, I see in my spiritual eye. I don't necessarily see with my physical eye. I see here more.
I see this is connected to these.
Yes.
All the time with me.
Yes.
So what I see is it's very hard for me because I have to see, okay, is it, because, doctors are like, oh, no, we don't listen to them.
Yes.
What I see,
they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No, they're wanting to push the pills. That's
yes,
what they want to do.
They
want to dumb you down. They want to matrix you. They want blue pill, red pill, whatever freaking pill. But when I started seeing this, I would ask my mom. And then I had sat with a Lakota Sioux in a sweat lodge, January 17th of 2019. And I got to sit with a wonderful group that I'd met through a sage party. So I had to help people clear out their sage in Julesburg, Colorado. And I met some Lakota Sioux, and they were like, hey, come sweat. So my visual got even more intense. I seen a woman that had long hair and braids, and she was wrapped like this, and she had a black and white outfit on, and she was covered, and she was holding a hawk, and there was a bear. And it was 168 degrees, and they did 20 or 50 granddaddies, which is these lava rocks that they use. It was the shaman's birthday, human form. So we celebrated a birthday of a tribe leader, and I sat through this first time lodge. I figured, you know what? I've been through life. I've been through everything. I'm going to go sit with the sweat.
Yeah.
And at that sweat, I realized that the hawk was real that I saw, the bear that I came into it, the white, I seen a white, when I was going out to seek those children that were the situation with the land I needed to clear, there was a random white deer that jumped in front of my car that had white eyes. And I was like, okay. And it looked at me. I stopped my car and did not hit it. It looked right at me and kept clearing, kept going. I knew I was in the right level. I knew I was where I needed to be. Because this is these little meet cute things that you get in life.
Yeah.
And so everything, I've always seen stuff. And that's probably part of the fact that, getting into wanting to use alcohol, or not alcohol, but like the drugs side, it helped me kind of calm that down because it was nonstop.
Yeah.
So
I can totally see that.
I was like, oh my God, shut it up, please. And so I was like, okay. So I had to realize that I had to take hold of that because it's a gift. Because one day I might see something before it happens and I might have to tell somebody. So I had to grow my big girl pants, and I had to realize, don't be afraid of that because it's your friend.
Yeah.
So me walking into that darkness and looking at it, and I remember looking at it. It was dark and it was big and it was cold and it had an odor and it was vibrant and it just was like, it was waving. It was waving.
Oh, wow.
It was like a piece of black gauze that had mesh in it. It was waving. So I had to ask, what do you need? What do you need? And yes. Do you need to be heard? Yes. What is it? Yes. Were you brought here on without your own terms? Yes. So like a lot of the things that we see that's in life, that's darkness, it just needs an answer. Yeah. And that includes within our own internal being. Just answer it. It'll go away.
So that is so true. Like, so the laws of physics say when you look at something, it vibrates differently.
Okay.
So it's bringing it down to science. It's like, this is scientific. Yeah. So if those people brought that entity here without its permission, it wanted somebody to look at it and see that it wanted to go. That's what it needed to go.
Yep. Just needed
and
help.
The same thing happens in our own energy. I love the way you just put that all together. That was gorgeous.
Thank you.
That was gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, we just got to look at it. Like, yeah, I got to own up. I look in the mirror every day. I'm like, I see all my flaws, as we're trained to by the United States of America.
Boy,
you're trained to look at all of your flaws as a issue. No. Our flaws make us our peacock. Every single feather is different. Every single use of that feather is different, but it all comes together in a peacock. And that's why I have a praying mantis on my neck and a dragonfly over here. It's ever adaptability, and I'm never going to go without. I don't kill my spouses. That's not how it goes. But I'm saying that, they're a being that's misunderstood.
I mean, sometimes I do, but it's always on a spiritual level.
No, I let them to their karma. That's what I do.
Oh.
I give them their karma. That's all they get. That's all I can do now. But hence that you just got to look in the eye.
Yeah.
And ask it, hey, how can I help you? What do you want from me? Not specifically from me, because that's what humans are toned to do by training as children, is you always have to take it on as it's your fault. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
Nothing is your fault.
I mean, the way I see it, it's like some of us came in with an energy that's strong enough, a consciousness that's aware enough, or we've developed into that because that's what we came here to be, so that we are able to like seriously shift shit that has been stuck for thousands of years.
2,000s of years.
Yes.
I'm still clearing stuff from the Roman times. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm still clearing stuff when I was part of Casapedra. That was 5,000 years ago. I'm still clearing my soul from Casapedra.
And it's like, the more we do it, it's interesting because what I'm hearing is the more we do it within ourselves, the more it is going to happen on our external level. So you're consciously aware of so much that you've done consciously. What I'm hearing, though, is you're not aware of what you've done without your conscious awareness of it.
No.
And there's so much. When you get back over there into the spirit realm, when you finally do make your way back there, you're going to be like, whoa, I did what?
I'm still pushing. All I see is push.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, it's like when you like, you get a vacation, you get to go to like the Carnival cruise ship and you get to retire for $2,500 a month and you get to go around the world. You finally realize you got to go around the world for $2,500 a month. I've paid. There's no amount of excitement or joy that I've had. Even my darkest hours when I seen Source in the trash can and said, why do you put me here? You're one of my chosen ones. At 2:30 in the morning when the air was blue and I had no place to go, living in my car and realizing, why am I put here? You're put here because this is where you started. You started at the bottom and you work your way up. And I don't stop, even though I'm midway and I know I'm doing okay. But you know what? My job's not done. And my job is to help people.
So how are you living that purpose? Or what do you offer? Or how do you do that? Is it just through where you're at, which is fine? Or do you have like something more specific? What are you involved in? What do you get into, and how do you deliver
Well,
that?
being new to Las Vegas, I'm not involved in much.
Okay.
You know, you're the beginning and my first circle, my full circle.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't really know what to do next.
Okay.
As a broken truck goes by.
That sounds like the garbage can saying, get rid of the I don't know.
Yeah, so that's the garbage can thing again. Remember I told you about what we just talked about? Yeah. So stop saying I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not benefiting you.
I'm up to the next move.
Yeah. So I was talking to a friend of mine. She was my friend in my sophomore year in high school. And she's one of those friends that every so many years we reconnect and we have like a 3-hour conversation and then we don't talk again for years. But in that conversation that I had with her last, she said, I don't know so many times. Let me tell you, I had one experience like this in my life. It was wild. I had so much coming through. I was talking nonstop, blah, 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 channeling. Everything was coming through beautiful. And then, boom, my mind went blank. I felt intuitively that I was standing in an all-white room with nothing in it. It's just I was standing inside of a white cube. And I remember thinking, what the hell just happened? Everything is off. 1, 2. And I'm like, count. And it was about 10 seconds. And it was the most uncomfortable feeling because I had never had it in my life of actually seeing what it felt like to be off spiritually and to not know.
Whoa.
I always know.
Were you in the void?
It was just a white room. And they were showing me what the power of the words I don't know is. Literally, they were showing me
saying those
the
words
literal power of the words I don't know. They were showing me, as I told her, like the words I don't know, literally clear what you know. You've decided you don't know, and you put a period on it. Period, solidify energy.
Oh, no.
So what you're looking for is, how can I turn that don't know it with a period into a question with open energy? Because question marks leave open energy. It invites the energy to come to a point of knowing.
Yeah.
Instead of only knowing what it is and deciding this is what it is, period, it's done. No, what else is there for me to know?
Okay,
right?
I'm up for that.
It's instead of I don't know, how can I? I'm ready to learn. That's a great declaration to make a period on. I'm ready to learn. Yeah. I know I'll figure it out one day. That's another great declaration. I may not know yet, but I know that I have the capacity to learn.
Capacity.
You're right.
Keep it open.
Some sort of way to invite that in. And that has been huge for me. Yeah. That has been huge for me because ever since I first picked up a deck of cards, like I read accurately for the first person I ever read for. And it was with the training, learn how to
kid deck like you used with me?
It was not. It was a right
that was
away.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I was so in tune.
I did know that I could read cards with playing decks. That was one of the things that made me go buy tarot decks. Yeah.
So I was your deck that you used to get to so what you read me with was your beginning very first, like there it is, I'm gonna do this.
That deck didn't really come to me. So that deck didn't come to me later until the grandchildren were born. But it started. I'm going to tell you what game started. It started with fucking apples to apples. I had my nephew, my daughter, my ex-fiance, and me, and we're all sitting around playing apples to apples. But I was like playing with the cards, and I pulled a message just to see if I could read, and I could read them, and I was like, what? And then I just I got to get some tarot cards. And so I bought 3 decks. It was a tarot deck, 2 tarot decks, and an oracle deck, which I clearly still have them all. And except for one, I gave one away as a gift to a friend. But that's when I got into really reading. And my readings have always been accuracy. And in the beginning, it was very mind-blowing how accurate my readings were. And then programs start to try to creep in because I had known a lady who got into tarot reading, and I actually have some tarot books from her, which honestly I've never really opened. I might have cracked on a card or 2 for a little bit, but I'm not been guided to learn about spirituality from published or given information. I'm always guided to it intuitively and then confirm it once in a while with this, that, or the other. But she started freaking out because the stuff she was reading was accurate and it scared the shit out of her. So that's been thrown in my face several times. Like, are you sure you want to read? Like, this shit is scary. And I'm like, I got this. I got this. I got this.
Right.
Yeah. But those playing cards, it was when my grandsons were, they were getting old enough to learn stuff. And so I started getting them for them. And yeah, so I ended up buying a whole nother set for me of the 4 different types of decks that they had. I combined it into the one deck that I read for you with. And it wasn't those particular cards, but it was that idea. It was like, that's why I knew I could read anything.
I think that Interstellar Frequency has a question.
Okay, if you have a question, put it up. Did you see it? Hold on. It's interesting being put in a position to interact with others, then once complete, then getting put into another position in place, just holding the fear of not making it at bay. I believe it. Love to all. Okay, yeah. I don't see a question, but if anybody has a question, you're definitely welcome to put your question in the comments. If you're on the Wisdom app and you put it in my messages in my chats there, I'll see it right now. But yeah, if you have a question, definitely bring it up.
And if you have anything that you want to ask, any questions, like please, this is your chance.
Definitely, absolutely. But yeah, this is awesome. We already talked about a lot of amazing.
So you said
stuff.
You had a message about me for my arm.
Oh yeah,
so I have this weird thing in my arm. It feels like a guitar string that goes twing every time I move it. So how do you feel about that?
It's awareness for you. What is happening when this is happening? Because I'm getting the word awareness. Like there's something happening in your physical experience every time that this twang is happening. It's a reminder of some sort of something. What is it?
I'm overworked.
And
I hear things with my body.
So here's the thing: the overworked with your body. So
I don't know. Don't trust doctors.
No, this is what it is. This is what it is.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. The body can do all sorts of things, but the mind doesn't have to necessarily be there. In other words, your mind while you're working is very focused on the work that you're doing. You gotta do that. But how can we play a little bit more mentally, spiritually while we're doing the work? That's the part that's missing. In other words, the spiritual play brings in energy. The physical work and the focus on it takes out energy. It's like it drains. It's physically exhaustive is the way, and the word exhaustive is coming through. And so what they're showing is like we can draw in more energy if we play spiritually. So it's almost like take those eyes you have with the ability to see beyond what's happening physically in that moment, because it's happening on your right hand, which is telling me it's too much attention on the physicality of this moment. You're paying too much attention to the physicality of this moment. You got this douchebag in your face. You'd laugh a lot more and feel a lot better about this if you were looking at this spiritually, not physically. Look at it spiritually. What's happening spiritually? Stop worrying so much about the physicality. That's the way.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And what they showed me is this reading I did for somebody who was a cook, and it's like...
I was a chef by trade for like 25 years.
Of course.
Yeah.
So this person was cooking, right? And it's like, just because you're standing there cooking, like you could visualize yourself like on a beach in Maui having a cocktail while your actual hands are freaking... Why not? Okay. If the current reality is the previous association to what is, and we want to attach to a new is, then it would serve us well to disassociate from the leftovers, the side effect of our yesterday association, and associate to the new realization that we are materializing on the physical plane, because right now that's what we have the power to do.
There she is. That's why I'm still...
Right now we have the power to do that.
And this is the reading that I had 4 years ago.
Yeah, she gets loud.
No, I hear you.
Yeah. And strong.
So I need to, okay. So, see? Not everybody goes through something. Just because it looks okay on the outside doesn't mean it's okay.
And the thing of it is, even in the not okayness of it, hold on real quick. The question will still be there. Hold on real quick. Okay. The not okayness of it will be there long enough until you realize why it's exactly what the fuck you needed to get where the fuck you are going. Okay.
It's all process.
I'm going to run to the bathroom while you read the question.
Okay. Question. Should I read it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, question. When your spirit talks to you, do you both have feelings of the touch of the skin to tell you that the truth being spoken about? So you're asking about, so this is interstellar frequency. Nice to meet you. Yes. That's a yes. My touches that I receive are usually on my shoulders. Hello. Usually on the shoulders or in my hands. So my hands, I always use them when I'm doing healing practices or working with, shifting energy or working with someone's energy that needs to be expelled or transmuted or whatever. Rubbing them together, I feel like causes an ability to kind of understand what the message is. So yes, I feel it in my shoulders and I do feel it on the touch of skin. Yes, most definitely. And when she comes back, so do you feel it? Do you feel it?
It's like goosebumps.
So she says goosebumps.
Yeah, I get like goosebumps. For me,
that's a good yes. Goosebumps is a big one.
Yeah, for me, the touch is more on my spirit. Like I feel it spiritually.
Yeah.
I'm not so much of a physical sensation, but when I get I know that
I hear it too. Like I'll hear it.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll hear it.
So I get a lot of when I'm working with someone, my energy is going into the experience. So one thing that I'll notice when I get, like, let's say my grandson comes to me, he's like, Grandma, I hurt my finger. And I'm like, do you want me to put some magic on it? So he'll put his finger up and I'll say, okay. Or in this case, her hand. Grandma, I hurt my hand. Let's see what we can do about that. You want me to put some magic on it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's see what we can do about it. And so I will do this. I put my hands up immediately. I don't touch. I don't need to touch. And I just see the energy flowing. And in my mind, I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you. Because in the thank you, thank you, thank you, whatever is perfect. In the I love you, I love you, I love you, there's a recognition and an awareness of what's perfect. Let me know if you begin to feel the energy at any point.
Right here in my arm where it begins my twang.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so I work this energy and I work it and I work it and I work it. Yeah, until I feel it kick back to me. And when I feel it kick back to me, it's like an electric jolt that comes back. You've seen it on the channel anytime we move energy, yeah? And so all I'm doing when I do that, thank you, thank you, thank you, I love you, I love you, I love you, is an embracing fully of what is. And I know at the core of what it is, it's perfect. That knowing that it's actually perfect is what it is. And so it's like that's why Jesus was able to heal, because he saw what really was. He saw what really was. And as the garbage truck is leaving,
there it is.
As the garbage truck is leaving, and I'm just, give me just a moment. I'm just going to be silent for a moment. And my energy just kicked back to me, and it feels like it's done, it's done, it's done. And
I sent it to you.
It just comes right back.
Yeah, I got it.
And so that happens. So then the other day, Quentin was like, Grandma, I hurt myself. It hurt so bad. So he comes up. You're welcome. He comes up and I'm like, well, let's see what we can do about it. You want to put some magic on it? He's like, yeah. I put my hands up. Immediately, my energy kicks back. I said, you're bullshitting. You're not even in pain. That's not funny. He's just laughing and runs off to go play. So, like, with me, the way it works, like, the energy kicks back to me when I'm done, and I feel that like a shudder through my body. But for the most part, like, when I'm reading for you, I can feel if you have an energy shift because I'll sense it. I'll sense it in my energy. I can feel when the reading is done because, again, it's not as strong as when I'm working with the physical healing, but I'll sense my energy come back to me like, okay, it feels like we're done now.
Yep.
And then when I'm giving stuff that Spirit's like, hell yeah, you're on point, my whole fucking body will get boost bumps, goosebumps all over, goosebumps all over my whole body. Yeah, so that is something. And you guys have been with me live when I work the energy like this, and I'm like, let me just send you some, and we work it. Okay, they're saying like, just do it now. So if and when you feel something of this, go ahead and put something in comments. We're just gonna work this energy, and let it come. Whatever you receive. We didn't know we were doing a mass. Yeah, if you don't accept it, click off. That's your responsibility. I don't want to hear somebody
responsible healing techniques.
Yeah. If you want it, take it. If you don't, click off. Is that simple? Oh, shit. That came back really strong for me.
There you go.
So that's a little bit about that. Is there anything else you want to?
So in Stellar Frequency says, I knew it. You know who you're reading for. LOL, knew it. Good job.
Nice. Anything? I don't see anything on the wisdom app. That's cool.
There's got to be some questions. Anything.
Yeah.
Personal, impersonal, spiritual, whatever. How can we help?
See, Janine says she felt that.
Hi, Janine.
Janine is in New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand.
Yeah. I have a beautiful following from New Zealand. Beautiful souls there. And she's one of the ones who's almost on every freaking live. And I'm so grateful. Interstellar Frequency is always here. So all these ones with this little mark, they purchased their membership, which means they're paying a monthly fee to support the channel and be part of the tribe.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah. So if any of you have any questions for her,
any of us,
definitely you're welcome. If it relates to your personal experience, that's welcome. We'll stay live for a few more minutes. If not, then we'll go ahead and cut out in a few more minutes here. But anything else? How do you feel about your experience here?
Yeah, I think it's lovely, and I adore you even more than I already did. And we're definitely on the right track. And I'd love to be a guest again. Or any questions or comments? Or it's cool.
Yeah. I could totally see you doing this.
Thanks.
You look great on camera. Look at how good you look on the camera. Like the camera flatters her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
Beautiful as usual.
So this is definitely something I could totally see you doing. For yourself even. Because the people. So this is one of the reasons that I really just jumped all into. Spirit showed me.
You have a question coming. I don't know who it's from.
Okay. One of the things I saw was that the time of the big awakening was going to elicit a lot of need in the humanity for the supply of what we have to offer.
Right.
Yeah. So let's see can we do a tarot reading, small spread if you don't?
Yes.
Let me go find some cards.
Oracle cards.
Let me go find some cards.
Yeah,
I'm going to get the one since Interstellar Frequency asked, I'm going to get the one that he sent me first as well.
Here we go.
So we'll get the Spiral Oracle. And then, let me bring this.
You're very welcome.
We'll let you work with the Oracle since you asked for Oracle. I'll go find a tarot deck.
Ooh, I love these. I like the map ones.
The map ones? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll grab those as well.
These are pretty too.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous art deck.
Is this from
Interstellar Frequency sent me that deck.
Oh, this is beautiful. So this is a Spiral Oracle. These are great. Thank you. These are great. I bet you these are. Let's take a look here. Oh, I love them. Let's see what we got here.
And I'm just going to get the key to the tarot, which is a traditional Rider-Waite, but it's silver metallic and black.
Oh, yeah.
I got it from Andrea.
Oh, here we go, map.
There's the enchanted map, so we'll have those 3 decks.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and pull some cards.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's go ahead and pull some cards.
Questions, comments, or concerns?
Let's get a collective message going, just for everybody, whoever watches this, which is how most of the stuff on the channel works. It's like if you find it, it's by divine design. Whenever
Thank you for sharing your cards with me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Happy to do so.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I'll work with this deck. I'm gonna let you work with both of the Oracle decks. And then I'll just pull, so you can read what you see from the oracles, and I'll read something from the tarot, and we can go back and forth.
Okay, thanks so much. You're very welcome. One moment. Gotta get my specs on. All right, let's see what we got here.
Now, do you have cards at home?
I do. I have the Oracle cards by Louise Hay.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I know the other ones too. The Spirit Oracle, and then I have the white ones.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I have Major Arcana.
Okay.
The regular tarot cards. I don't really like them so much.
The Major Arcana is great.
If I'm doing like a full spread, then it's different.
Yeah.
And then I have the Celestial ones. What's from the ocean.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, let's get some cards in here.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
I have cards on the floor.
Ooh.
I dropped some. Let's see what we have. On the floor, face up, I have the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups, spirit, the intuitive, receptive mode. The 3 of Pentacles working together. And what's this one? The 10 of Pentacles for the benefit of the masses. I heard that's what's happening here. So this is a confirmation that it's a collective message. Okay.
all right side up too. So this is specific for someone. We have the Follow the Leader card. Wishing well. Looks like you got some wishes out there. And then Stuck in the Mud.
I find that so significant because of your tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just talked about that.
Yeah, and it's important not to be stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
So that's our 24. We have 24 on those numbers, just in case we got number people, 24, 48, and 40. So the Follow the Leader card brings to me that road is important. A golden road with the birds. Anyone who sees birds or a road that's golden, follow it, because there's a tree there. There's a foundation there for you.
Follow.
There's a foundation of a tree. So that's grounding through spiritual. No, that's wrong. This is a follow to the tree for your foundation. And then I see the wishing well. It's okay to place all your wishes in that well, but you got to go back and talk to them and see if they've been granted. I feel like that wishing well is a pretty good card. And then Stuck in the Mud. So it's interesting that this is pretty interesting. It says Stuck in the Mud. There's that cute little elephant with his trunk down and that cute little bird riding for salvation. So it's important to keep that trunk up while you're stuck in the mud to get out of it. I feel like that's something that might be going on. And then the middle card that I'm going to pull is going to be Compass.
Oh.
Internal compass. So all this Stuck in the Mud, Follow the Leader, and wishing well comes from that internal compass. One more internally. I just pick from internal into the unknown. Very good.
I hear you're going where you've never been before.
Yeah. To that internal compass.
I love that.
So there's those.
So let's see what we have. So they're showing me to take a card to go with each card that you drew.
Okay, gotcha. So it's got to be in order.
So let's see. With the wishing well, we have the Tower.
Together.
Interesting. Okay, so the wishing well and the Tower is like, you have wishes that you've made. Get out of the way of the universe showing up. Stop deciding how it has to happen. There are so many more possibilities. If you can see one or two, they can see 10 or 20 for sure, if not mine. I heard 1,000. 10 or 20,000.
I feel like this is me or someone that we know. So, that burning doesn't mean ending. It's a new beginning.
Yeah. With the Tower, I also see like there's, the death of the ego. Like it must be like this type of energy, or this is what I want type of energy. Yeah.
Oh.
What'd you pull?
Clock Time Gateway.
Oh, it's all just divine timing stuff showing up. What do you got?
Clock Time Gateway. And then what I do, and this is with our friend in Interstellar Frequency, this beautiful card. This is what we got on this one. And then we have, one moment. Oh, one more fell out. This one's Sacred Sexuality. That one fell out on there. Bottom. Let me grab one. Here it is. This one is Witness of Beauty.
With that alone, I'm getting like, it's just a matter of time. As everything the energy coalesces, you'll see it.
Flower of Life. Ironically,
as it
family, blossoms. Look what's on my chest. The Flower of Life. Yeah. There we go. It's going to blossom. That Witness of Beauty, Clock Time Gateway, organic. That's what I'm feeling. Organic, sacred sexuality. Doesn't have to mean a partner or anything like that, but it's just sacred.
It's the divine blending of the feminine and masculine qualities in the self.
Which is is necessary.
Yeah.
And then Certainty with this beautiful buffalo in the light.
So how do you see those cards going with these five?
So the ones that we've got here, so the Flower of Life is going to be Into the Knowing. Wishing Well is the Sacred Beauty or Sacred Sexuality. Okay. Witness of Beauty is going to be Stuck in the Mud. Certainty. Follow the Leader. Clock Time Gateway. Compass.
Perfect. I love. Okay, so now we have the Tower with Wishing Well and Sacred Sexuality.
So let's show this so we know what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful card 1, 2, and 3. This is what we got. for this first pull. Judgment.
Oh, Judgment has come out.
Okay. So we have Judgment. We have Stuck in the Mud. And then Witness of Beauty.
And I hear how you judge, so shall it be. Again, with the periods or the question marks. What are you putting on it? And I feel like right now there's an important phase in life where it's like, are you going to put a period on it or a question mark on it? What will you put on it? It's like, it's up to you. Because you could stay with your nose down, stuck in the mud, or you can choose, to put a question mark to that. And what else is possible? I heard the powerful question from my friend Bubba. What else is possible in this for my bliss was my own addition to that. What else do we have? Oh, the Ace of Wands.
Oh.
With certainty and what's the
So
other?
Ace of Wands is amazing.
Yeah.
Ace of Wands is my most favorite card, I think, in the major arcana. So follow the leader of the Ace of Wands, and then we have certainty. So once you reach for that, it's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see even you setting out as a leader of the energy. I see like you had realizations of where you were not, where you were wanting. You had realizations of where you were wanting. And right now you're making an important judgment over your life to move out of a situation that has not been. So I see you moving the energy spiritually. So some of you are doing our practice of quantum leaping. And if you've been with the channel for a while, you know that quantum leaping is taking and getting into your high bliss state, whether that's through meditation, song, dance, or whatever the fuck it takes, an orgasm, whatever. Visualizing the co-creative link that exists between what is now plus where you're choosing to go, bridging the difference between now and then, where you are plus what is the same as where you'll be. And I talked to you a little bit about this yesterday because I know that you're looking for a new home for you and your son. And it was like, well, you're going to eat, shit, and sleep in the same place. You know what I'm saying? Now and then. You're still going to wash dishes. You're still going to make food. It's like, what are the common grounds between here and there? Important tool for quantum leaping. You just pulled some more cards to talk about.
I'm sorry. Sacred pull and strength.
And what I'm hearing with that, because I equate pools of water in general with emotions.
You told me 33 hertz.
Yes.
Is going to heal my water situation.
And so with the thing, water is emotion and spirit for me. So the sacred pool, sacred spirit, sacred emotion, right? And with the strength, this is your power. So your power to quantum leap into that reality and become what you've seen yourself become in your vision, right? Is equated and brought forth and drawn through that feeling, getting in the feeling of it. Yeah. Look at that. The own voice card comes out. That's just freaking perfect.
I get called to touch. That's what I do.
Yeah. And so when you have your own voice and you present in your experience the way you want to, and the energy follows you as you find that you are the leader in a place of certainty, this is where you're headed.
No judgment.
Yeah, this is where you're headed. Yeah. So one of you, I'm picking up this space-time clock time gateway in the compass as something that has occurred in the past to influence the witness of beauty and of now from this position of being in the mud. Let's see more about that compass and clock time gateway. This one. Wow, the fucking Ace of Cups.
Ace of Cups.
I love.
Always feel it. There it is.
And so if you've been with me for a while, you know what's my Ace of Cups? Self-love, baby. That's your self-love card. All love starts with the self.
Which gives you that clock time gateway, which gives you that compass is self-love.
Yeah.
There it is.
So, and because I saw that as a happening that has happened already.
This is my new tattoo.
I love. Because I saw it as something that has already transpired in our past, in our probably your very recent past. Like you tapped into self-love in a strong way to help you navigate. It's like, I've got a decision to make. I need to know where to go. It's time with the clock time gateway. It's time for me to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do next. What do I got to do? Where am I going? What's the next step? Where am I at? What do I want? And it's like, the self-love, that self-love was a trigger of all of this divine timing unfolding, which is now enabling the current situation of judgment. You're as you calling it out, so it comes about. It was one of the interpretations Spirit gave me about the judgment card. As you call it out, the universe brings it about. So if you're calling out stuck in the mud, congratulations, you'll stay stuck in the mud. But if you're calling out, I'm the lotus growing from the mud.
Oh, I got a message. To witness the beauty, you'll get stuck out of the mud and you'll have no judgment.
Yeah. It's accepting it as, no, there's no apology necessary. Yeah. It's accepting it as a formative positioning, Like every building starts literally in the fucking mud. They got to make sure that the foundation, the ground is stable before they can pour even a foundation.
Totally.
It all starts there.
I love you.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Absolutely.
Oh.
We have the Hangman. So what's going to happen is there's still some uncertainties. The Hangman talks about a period of uncertainty, which is great because we also have it with the Flower of Life and Into the Unknown. These three cards together, very much coming about like you don't know what's coming next. The only thing you know is it's coming from the blossom of the Flower of Life, which in this case right now is referring me back to our Ace of Cups, self-love. This is where it's blossoming from. As you're sitting in the energy of appreciating, adding value to what is, you don't know exactly how it's going to show up. And that's okay. You're trusting that it's showing up in the Flower of Life energy, that creative energy that came from you in your self-love, Ace of Cups vibe. Boom, the experience shows up. Ace of Wands, there's that new experience that you're looking for. Follow the leader. The energy is following you. You must lead the energy. Stop looking for somebody to lead you. How are you leading you and your life? You're going to see that with certainty. It will not be a question anymore. So I see an experience unfolding. And this experience is going to totally validate. This is like when I decided I was going to find some great books for the children yesterday when I went to the thrift shopping little venture that I went on. And I found 3 books for the boys that are perfect. They got so excited when they see them. On top of that, I found some little glasswares for my daughter to use on her desk at the studio. Perfect things. And I found the shorts that I want for the Cholo party that's coming up where I'm going to marry my friends. So it's like evidence is showing up in your physical experience to validate this vision that you have for yourself. For some of you, this vision is about a new home. So you could visit a home that feels like, oh my God, I would love this aspect in my home. Or you could hear about somebody who just got into their ideal situation in a home. Or you could become aware of a place, or now today somebody's getting the appointment scheduled to go view what will become your next home. Is it a home? Is it a job? Is it a relationship? Is it that human experience? It's something that you budded out of self-love. And there's still like waiting. There's still waiting going on at this current moment. But when it comes, you're going to see it differently, right? Because it's something you haven't seen before. And it's coming from the Flower of Life. And I'm hearing Abraham cut through talking about, it's a beautiful thing when you go general. When you focus more on the feeling instead of the specifics. The specifics are great if you're in the highest vibration and you want to visualize specifics. That's great. With that, we would caution you to make sure you include every aspect so that all the pieces are the right size and flows in the same flow and is moving in the same direction as you. However, there's so much beauty in just allowing it to be general, because what happens is now you leave room for the universe to fill in all the things that you don't even know exist in your favor that are ready to blossom forth in your experience, but they were just waiting for you to align with it instead of deciding it must be this way, it must be this way, it must be this way. So that's what I'm saying. Anything you got? Wow. King of Swords is at the bottom of the deck. And this is definitely talking about that conversation, speaking it out, speaking and clarity.
Here it is.
And knowing
here
what
it
you
is.
got.
Interstellar frequency with your beautiful card. This is what came up. It says it's a job for me, LOL. This one shows up as a healing path.
Yeah. It's all a healing path.
Yeah.
It's all a healing path.
I'm not sure how that correlates, but.
Oh, it definitely correlates, because to get to this Ace of Cups, you have to have the healing path. The healing path has happened in the past when you had that realization with that tower moment that gave that ego strike, creating this that she just pulled out, the Wizard of Awareness. You became aware of what the fuck was going on.
We got 2 hanging.
And that was a disassembling, the coming apart of what was, to protect a treasure of what you've seen that is unfolding for you. That is a reality already for you spiritually. It's in your vortex. It's real.
Descend the ray.
It's like just stop thinking that It's not real just because it's spiritual, because it's in the physical vortex. There's nothing in your physical reality that wasn't there first. And there can be nothing in your physical reality that is not there first. It must be there first. The rest of it is just a coalescing. It's like the cloud. Yeah. The cloud exists and it's white and light and fluffy until the perfect condensation happens. And now you have rain. It's turned into physical matter. It's no longer just vapor. It's no longer just in the etherics. It's now becoming physical matter. So your point of focus, your mission, should you choose to accept it,
that means you can't go back,
is to know it, to hold it, to feel it, and believe it, and know it, and hold it, and feel it, and believe it.
Like you told me yesterday on the phone, materialize, materialize, materialize. Like you said on the phone call yesterday, it was like 2 hours, and I loved every minute of it, was like, stop manifesting so much, because now you're over manifested and you're not materializing enough. So you can wish for all you want, you can manifest all you want, but if you're not using the work, you're not going to get the work.
And the thing of it is,
that's what I have to do. I have to use that. I have so many buckets of I am the queen of manifestation. My human design is a manifestor generator. I can manifest, generate anything, but can I throw it into materialization? That's the word that we have to work on, is materialization.
Yes. And I hear manifestation is really something that happens naturally. It requires zero effort. You're going to do it naturally as you're living the human experience. Abraham calls these step 1 and step 2. You have an experience. It elicits a desire. The universe, source, God responds to that desire. Your job is to become a vibrational alignment to that desire. And boom, that's the energy. That's when the weather is just right and that cloud condenses into rain, baby. Yeah.
And rain is not sad. Rain is cleansing.
Oh God,
rain is I love it. Rain is growth for flowers.
Yeah. You'll find me outside in it dancing. And I've even gone live just to celebrate the rain.
I love rain. So. I'm so glad it's not hot right now in Las Vegas. I've been hopefully secretly placing this in order. I'm like, please no 175 degrees right now. It's literally been raining for 3 months on and off.
Yeah. So have I told you that I've literally made it rain?
Thank you. Thank you. Because this is too damn hot. I lived in Death Valley for a year and I'm over the heat. And then I find out that Death Valley actually wasn't as hot for like 100, like it was supposed to be over 120 degrees. It wasn't. It was only 95, 100 the whole time. So.
Yeah. Interstellar Frequency did the human design chart. I put it in my community tab for everybody. I'm like, y'all check this out. I ran my own. I am a projector, which makes perfect fucking sense. Yes. Literally like a film projector. I project the scene and then it comes responding to me. This is why I like to lay around in my bed until it's time to do stuff. Yeah, you generators, you feed my energy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Like I was designed to be an energetic vampire. I heard because of what I do it and because my energy is not draining. You get filled up more when you give me energy. Yeah. Because I'm a projector. And then I give you back what you wanted to see.
There you go. Manifestor generator.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard being. And so if anyone does their human design chart, a lot of people are going to say it's just science. Well, science is created natural. So, however, being human design, it really breaks down like exactly what you are and what you're supposed to be doing as designed for your human to be where we can be where we're at spiritually. Because if you live within your human design, then you're going to make everything irrational decision in your spiritual and human. Like there's no like, what is that called?
Cross current.
Yeah. When you're like, you don't connect. So if you stay in your connection and you figure out your human design, it's going to be cake. You got this.
Yeah. And that's what was confirmed for me. Like I've known for a long time, like as a Taurus, I'm supposed to laze about in the grass until it's time to go do a quick little job and then come back and laze in the grass more and just chill.
Yeah, I don't know how you do all that. No,
and that's literally how I live my freaking life. Like I lay in the bed, I wake up when I want, I go to sleep when I want, I eat when I want, and when it's time to work and I want to work, the work shows up. Well, and it always feels like fun and art anyways. It feels like taking a walk to a bowl.
So then that way you'll teach me how to lay down more in the grass and I'll like, I don't know. I'm constantly generating something.
Yeah. Constantly. And it seems like I attract that energy because so not only did I run mine, I ran my whole family's. I have 2 generators and like 3 manifestor generators.
Wow.
Yeah. They're all like everybody around me is here to like feed my energy. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense because I have often been the one to take care of the family. And so now I'm like, it's so important. So I have this experience where like I pray for somebody to get the guidance, the experience, the tools that they need for their next level, and boom, it happens. In other words, I visualize or I affirm prayer, whatever word you like. We speak all those vernaculars. And it's like, it works. And so, it's like, sometimes that path doesn't look like the way they think it's going to look, but it always works. It always freaking works. And then I watch people unfold these experiences, and then they always come back and they're like, everything you said is true. Like I just had that happen today. I reconnected with a friend of mine named Corinne. Shout out if you're watching. And she was talking about moving, and I was like, I get the feeling like you need to move on your own. Your brother's going to leave you high and dry if you move with your brother. And I feel like he's going to get in a relationship. He's going to go off and be with the woman and all this stuff. And so now she's made a different decision after reconnecting with her. She's like, everything you said happened. My brother got with this girl. He went and moved with her. I'm moving to Florida. You going by yourself? Yep, I'm going by myself. I'm like, I love it. What I didn't tell her, so if you're watching, bonus for you, you're about to meet some person that's perfectly your vibe. You guys are aligned. You're going to have a very beautiful relationship. I saw that immediately when you said you were going by yourself. It was key that you go by yourself. What you don't need in that when you move into this new energy is that such a strong influence of family, because it's about you honoring you. And from that place of honoring you, you're going to align with somebody who fucking honors you. It's gorgeous. I love that for you, baby. But yeah, that was a personal message that came through. I don't even know if she's even going to watch this message or not. Like I said, we just recently reconnected. But yeah, everything totally comes full circle. I love the first circle of you in my life.
Thank you.
And I feel like we're done for today. So if you didn't do the human design chart, go into the community tab, look it up. It's definitely worthwhile. Read everything all the way to the bottom. I love and I just got the free report, but one of the things I loved about it, I looked at like a checklist. It gave the challenge and the solution. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. Checklist, done. Oh, I do that. Oh, I love it. It was so confirming for me of my own evolution. And it's like, I really am how I want to be. Like, I really am how I need to be, which is good because there's been times in my life where I'm like, bitch, yeah, I know you're a freelance entrepreneur, artist, all this stuff, but you would have health insurance and all these benefits in a regular paycheck if you worked at somebody's office. And it's like, even in that human design chart, it's like, you're not meant for a regular 9 to 5. It said in there, short bursts of energy. Oh, you mean producing a video here and there and running a nail client every now and again? Oh, okay. Doing a reading every now. Oh, okay. And then rest. And literally, when I'm not doing the stuff that I'm doing, like I'm vegging out. I'm allowing myself to chill because I was on work. I got to produce something. If I'm alive, I should be producing. I did that for fucking years. Just if I was alive, I was producing something, paintings, readings, nails, something, designs, cleaning something, making something. And then it hit me. It's like, I need to fucking chill. I need to chill out. And so I realized, like, by trying so hard to make stuff happen, the energetic signature to making things happen is it's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. So the universe is responding to it's not happening. So you keep trying to make stuff happen. The universe responds to it's not happening. And when I lay down and I veg out and I just chill, Netflix and chill, or lay down, take a fucking nap, or read a book, or whatever it is I'm doing, it's like, it's already done. Now I can relax. And that's the energy that is going out in that signal of the universe, of the most powerful radio tower that exists, which is the human mind to the universe, that responds back saying, it's done, you can relax. It's done, you can relax. You've done what you should. And honestly, I've known this for a long time. I said, you know what? If I died today, I'd be okay. Because I know I delivered what I should. I've left this planet more beautiful than I found it.
Yep.
And that's enough. Anything else is just like extra bonuses on top.
So when you guys do that human design chart, it's important that when you get the chart that you like focus on the circles. You're going to see one here. You're going to see one here. You're going to see different signals through the chart. And that's the areas that you need to pay attention to, that you stay in your true self. Mm-hmm. So that when you get this chart, and I don't know whenever you decide to go further on this, but the charts actually give you different circles of this like drawn out human. It's important to stay in alignment with each of those positions most of your time, if not all the time, in order to keep that in alignment so that your chakras and then your doshas stay in alignment as well. Because it's important to keep all of it in alignment, because that way you won't have any dis-ease or any random things that come up. And when you outlive your human design charts and you're not living within that circle, so you'll show that circle and it'll have like little descriptions. at that point, you need to just really focus on one circle at a time and go ahead and go through your life and do some checklist opportunity to see exactly how you can go about achieving that circle to be full capacity.
Okay. That makes me want to look at my chart. Like, what's circle she talking about?
So these little circles that you see, you got to focus those right there, right there, right there, right there. See all these little diagrams? They house little things within. So it's important to pay attention to your solar plexus, and then you have your heart chakra right there, and then your crown, your throat. That's going to be in alignment as long as you stay in alignment with your throat chakra. And then you have that chakra. See all those chakras? Everything
but the fucking crown has little black dots in it.
Well, that's because all of these in alignment, this just shoots out information because you're a projector.
Absolutely.
So you don't have anything blocking you here. It's all in here.
It's all in the physical.
As long as
that makes so much fucking sense.
If you stay in your physical, let's see. Mine are, I don't know. Mine are all over the place. I'll have to send it to you. But I look like a darn pincushion. I have a lot to do.
Yeah, so that was really an awesome tool. I didn't know nothing about that until she mentioned it to me yesterday, so I had to share that with you.
Yes.
So yeah, go ahead and check that out for yourself. I heard, does that keep help keep your chakras aligned? I don't think it keeps your chakras aligned. I think that what it is it's creating awareness for you of where you want to focus in either healing things that are related to that chakra or embracing the fact that it's fucking functioning, and focus more on how it's functioning in order to draw its working energy into it, and then more working will happen.
Yeah, and then more working with that and staying in that. So say, for instance, you work on your sacral. So if anyone has any sacral, any foundation root chakra issues, which 80% of the people do, because we walk around in shoes that are made of plastic. We're genuinely made to walk around in our own natural foot, to be outside. That's why grounding is a big technique. But say, for instance, you have something going on with maybe like a spleen or something that's health related, or maybe something that's not in line, that has to do with your chakra. So with your chakra, you want to keep it in that human design will help it run smoothly, as well as, your eating, your meditation, your root work, your spirituality, grounding, eating, whatever your body, your mineral content is, and so forth. So that the answer is it can support it.
And they want me to share with you, when I do a chakra alignment on somebody, I start at the root chakra. I will see them. I will focus the energy. The left hand is the spiritual. The right hand is the physical. So you'll see me move the physical hand more. And I go to the left first because the chakras spin circularly. So I'll spin it to the left first to consciously break through anything that's blocking it, and then spin it to the right. It starts slower and it spins faster. Once it gets spinning faster, I know it's done. So if you want to do your own chakra alignment, this is a technique, and you're going to do that. And when you're working with that chakra, for example, your root is first and it's red. So in your mind, you're seeing red, you're thinking red, you're visualizing red, and you're watching that chakra breaking loose anything that was holding it in place, and then turning it to the right now to spin it clockwise to get it going and moving in its flow. And then you just raise up, switch the color to orange because now you're in a sacral chakra. And then again, break loose anything that's holding it and bring it around to the right and let it get in a good flow. Now it's moving. Okay. And then, so somebody's actually getting this right now is what I'm hearing. And then we go yellow, right? Somebody's getting this right now. And then we go green, right? And then, and so for me, I feel it in my energy when it's done. Yeah. And then you go, with the blue for the throat and the indigo for the third eye and the violet for the crown. And you see the color. And in that, anytime I'm going to reiterate, any and every time I'm doing spiritual work, there's a mantra that I play in the background of my mind consistently. And it's thank you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Whether I've gone in and cleansed a home, help raise some chakra energy, or transmute energy, do energy work for a person, whether it's a physical healing, like you saw what was happening here today, or anything else. How's your room, by the way?
Oh, it's great.
Okay. So the tingling is gone.
Oh, we'll see when I lift something.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have you move the furniture in a minute. So
well, thanks. That's what I'm really here for. I'm really here for hard labor again.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Anyway, so
you have somebody that has something going on with their voice too.
What do you see?
Someone feels voiceless.
Oh. Okay, what do you want to say? You pick that up. I'll let you talk.
It's just voiceless. Like something's going on in someone's throat, maybe thyroid, something going on. Is there anybody that's experiencing that? thyroid, something going on with thyroid or health related in the neck, back of the neck. I'm not sure. Whoever or however.
You're picking up on my mother.
Oh.
It wasn't thyroid. The cancer, it was in her throat. Yeah, the cancer moved and enveloped itself all around her spinal cord. And she could not talk when she died. Yeah, I know.
She's sorry that she left so soon.
Oh.
She loves you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I immediately heard is your mom. It's mommy. I'm like, oh.
She's probably sitting over here in the corner hanging out.
And she's always around me.
Of course.
Yeah, she's always around. Yeah.
But what else was I going to, I don't know. That's probably what it was. But it's okay.
Yeah.
So also when you do your chakra work, when you're doing this dismantling of the reversal, those little pieces, those fragments, like I'm a fragment person, and we got to put those to Gaia. You know, when you have your fragments and they get chunky and you like really working on, like, say for instance, your chakra has like been clogged for, I don't know, 3 childbirths, 2, dysfunctional relationships, and everything doesn't work in the root or whatever. You want to make sure when you reverse it, you want to send that down and then restart it with the new red, or new color. That way the chunks go away, because you don't want to restart it with new chunks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I see it, I mean, the way it works in me, because when I reverse it, it's like all the chunks, they fly off and they just go into the universe. Cool. Like it just gone. It's just gone. It just goes out into the universe, which is a perfect place to give it, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Earth, air, whatever. Just get rid of it.
Yeah. Yep. Anywhere you send it, just give it back to the universe. The universe is earth, air, water, fire. So you can send it in any of those ways. The universe knows what to do with it if you don't.
And 9 times out of 10, it's not even you. It's ancestral healing.
Which is one of the questions we use a lot, and we get guided to share a lot. Is just like, is this mine? Yeah. So much of the shit that you claim to be yours is not even yours. So your fucking feelings aren't even yours, dude.
90% of the time, the stuff that you're going through, the angst is not yours.
Yeah.
It could be, but it might not be.
Yes. All right, so we've done 2 hours in our session today. I'm so thankful and grateful for your presence.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for your time and meeting all of your new influences here.
Yeah.
Hope we were helpful. Hope I was helpful.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out here. I always come back with something else, but interviews are a nice little cherry in our day.
You're welcome.
So thank you all for your presence. Share it with somebody who needs a message. Until next time, sending you so much love and peace and happiness. Kamsahamnida. Gracias. Later, baby. And I'm out.